All right, we will call to order the American Civics Public Meeting. Sheila, can we get roll call?
Angela Blasey.
Here.
Justin Thompson. Joanne Lynn Green.
Present.
Emily Garrick.
Present.
Cindy O'Connor.
Present.
Skip Altick.
Present.
All right, this evening we will welcome Mrs. Douglas and Mrs. Carlson up for a presentation on our American Civics Public Meeting.
Good evening. So tonight, the Teaching and Learning Department will be covering the Principal Statement of Assurances. I believe the form of the Principal Statement of Assurance was attached to this evening's agenda. And so you hopefully, if you didn't have time yet to review it, it is all there. It is information that we also covered in our previous hearing that we had. So we're just going to go over really the first page because it is the presentation of the principal's assurance that these items were in fact completed for the 24-25 school year. So the signed form is an assurance that the requirements of the following have been met. Americanism Nebraska Statute 79-724, the American Civics Education Bill, LB 399, and the Multicultural Education Nebraska Statute 79-719 to 79-723. All the resources for your review and documentation are listed below. So the first item that is there is a link to a K-12 Americanism, Multiculturalism, and American Civics documentation. That is a protected folder that contains curriculum, so that is not open to the public. But if any of the board members would ever want to come in and meet with us and go through the contents of that folder, that just has the documentation of all of the things that are listed there and the items that we cover when we have our first meeting of the year. So we do have a folder that documents and assures that all of the items in the statutes and in law are covered. There's also a link there to the Americanism documentation, the Nebraska State Statute, a link to the American Civics Education Bill, and the Multicultural Education documentation, the Nebraska Statute, is also linked there. Contained in each one of those documents is the outlined information that shows up on the following pages, and the signing of the assurance statement by our building leadership teams assures that those, in fact, have been met.
All right. So furthermore, all K through 12 buildings are required to recognize the holidays listed below. Grade level courses, they document their instructional resources and evidence of meeting all of the Americanism and multicultural education requirements, including the American Civics Education Bill, in the linked folder there. We also have our district curriculum writing teams. They complete Americanism documentation each summer for the holidays. They add them to those folders and also put them in the curriculum unit guides for the social studies content areas. And so we had all principals sign their assurances at our May Administrative Council meeting.
At this time, we'll entertain any questions you might have, if any.
Anyone have anything?
No.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Okay,
Thank you,
thanks.
ladies.
All right, at this time, we will open for public comments on specifically the American Civics Public Meeting. Sheila, do we
I
have
have
any?
none.
Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the American Civics Public Meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Justin Thompson. Joanne Lynn Green. Emily Garrick.
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor.
Aye.
Skip Altick.
Aye.
Angela Blasey.
Aye.
All right, and now I will call to order the August 11th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education. Thank you all for attending the regular meeting of the board. I would like to remind you that school board meetings in Nebraska are meetings held in public, not public meetings. During the public comment section, the public may address the board on agenda items and other miscellaneous topics. All right, our mission statement: North Platte Public Schools is a destination school district and community that embraces innovative opportunities and distinguished programs to create highly competitive advantages for all students, instilling the canteen spirit in an evolving world. The canteen spirit embodies generosity, selflessness, and unwavering support through service, pride, collaboration, and grit. Sheila, can we get roll call again, please?
Joanne Lynn Green.
Present.
Emily Garrick.
Present.
Cindy O'Connor.
Present.
Skip Altick.
Present.
Angela Blasey.
Present.
Justin Thompson.
Present.
Okay, the Open Meetings Act. The Nebraska Open Meetings Act legislates the methods by which public meetings are conducted. Information pertaining to this act is posted here in the boardroom. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the publication of the August 11th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
I'll make a motion to approve the publication of the August 11th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education. Second.
Roll call.
Emily Garrick,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Altick,
Aye.
Angela Blazy,
Aye.
Justin Thompson,
Aye.
Joanne Green.
Aye.
Motion passes. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the August 11th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for the August 11th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education. Second.
Roll call.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Altick,
Aye.
Angela Blazy,
Aye.
Justin Thompson, Joanne Green,
Aye.
Emily Garrick.
Aye. Motion passes. At this time, please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
All right, we will welcome up Mrs. Birchall to give us our foundation report tonight.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. The summer's Evening of Excellence and Bulldog Golf Classic netted almost $30,000 for the foundation. It's lower than we have had in the past years. So we'll be reviewing both events and identifying opportunities for improvement moving forward so that we can fund ongoing projects that we have and programs. Looking forward, just to give you a heads up, Change Wars will run September 10th through the 17th with all the elementary schools. So start saving those coins. We're also gearing up for another year of REACH grants to fund innovative classroom projects across the district. Last year, we were able to really affect all 3,500-ish students, especially when Mrs. McDaniel does the take the stage to the students. So it's really impactful to have that and to be able to do those things. A strong Board of Education that actually actively supports the foundation sends a clear message to the community. And we look forward to working with you again this year so that we can support our students in all of their endeavors. So we just wanted to say thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Public questions and comments may take place at this time in the agenda. Individuals who want to address the board must complete a guidelines for public comments form with the date, topic addressing, name, address, and the name of any organization you represent, and give it to the board clerk prior to the meeting.
I have none.
Okay. On to our consent agenda for the evening. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, a consent agenda groups routine meeting discussion points into a single agenda item. In doing so, the grouped items can be approved in one action rather than through the filing of multiple motions. Documentation concerning these items has been provided to all board members and the public in advance to assure an extensive and thorough review. Items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member. So on our consent agenda for the evening, we have the following. 9.1, approve the minutes of the July 14th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education. 9.2, approve the minutes of the July 31st, 2025 Board of Education Committee of the Whole meeting. 9.3, approve the minutes of the July 14th, 2025 student fees hearing. 9.4, approve the minutes of the July 14th, 2025 parent involvement hearing. 9.5, approve the part-time teaching contract for Kathleen Craig effective for the 2025-2026 school year. 9.6, approve the teaching contract for Jesse Young effective for the 2025-2026 school year. And then 9.7, approval of the financial claims and reports, which this month were audited by Joanne and myself. Joanne, did you have anything you wanted to share on those?
Nope, just appreciate Janelle and Dr. McDonald for sitting down and answering all of our questions. They did a fabulous job. So
We did ask a lot of questions
we
too.
did.
Yes, and they had answers for everything. So I appreciate that. So I think My recommendation would be to approve the claims as presented. Are yours the same?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Any questions or discussion on any of these items before we call to vote? Okay, hearing none. Sheila?
Skip Altick,
Aye.
Angela Blazy,
Aye.
Justin Thompson,
Aye.
Joanne Lynn Green,
Aye.
Emily Garrett,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor.
Aye.
All right, this evening we have several reports and discussion items. The first one is our monthly financial and budget report with Dr. McDonald. So we're going to turn this over to him for an update there.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. The monthly financial report, there's a lot of documentation in there this month. And I don't plan to go through it all, but I will give you an explanation as to what it entails in regards to all of the different treasurer's reports and everything in there. The first one that I had on there was just an overview again of the year in regards to North Platte Public Schools. What I did was I went back and looked at all of the bank reconciliation statements from September to present. And so with that, within the link system, the reason I did that was within the link system, when I was looking up the activity and depreciation funds that were within the system, there was just a little bit of a glitch between the numbers that were on some of the treasurer's reports and the bank reconciliation statement. So I wanted to make sure that it was accurate for you there. They weren't off by much, but there was a little bit of a discrepancy there. So I wanted to be as transparent as I can with you. And so the numbers do match all of the bank reconciliation statements moving forward. And so as you can see within this balance, as you look at this report, it does bring forward that in July, we received $1,093,449 with expenditures of $4,166,551.33, which brings our cash on hand forward to $1,986,753.16. On this document, you will see the borrowed funds that were the line of credit utilized throughout the course of the year. Those fees or that line of credit has been paid currently, and then I put the interest and fees on there so you can see that as well in regards to what the district paid in interest fees for that line of credit to date. As you can see, in July, we are 0.4% under budget, so that's a good thing, but just barely under budget at this particular point in time. And then clear to the right of that, you can see the averages for the payroll and the payables for the year current. So we're waiting for August 20th currently for valuations to come in and really put some numbers to the budget and be able to have those discussions moving forward at that particular point in time. So any questions in regards to how the general fund budget looks moving forward and where it is currently? The next sheet is just on the enrollment for the district. The enrollment as of August 7th. I know that we've had a few other families come in since then, but it was 3,468 students compared to September 2024, which was 3,471 students. So we are very, very close in regards to being the same as we were a year ago. Also on that sheet, you can see that high school, all of the other buildings, their enrollment as well as per grade enrollments there. And then I also added just some building capacity numbers there for you, so you can kind of take a look to see exactly where the capacity is with each building and where our current enrollment stands. So hopefully that helps with giving you a little bit more information there. The treasurer's report, again, the July treasurer's report is the one that I would just like to focus on. You have treasurer's reports from September all the way to July, so you can go back and review those if you would like, but those are accurate numbers with the bank reconciliation statements to date. So our July fund currently, as I stated, we have $1,986,752 in the green for the district, cash on hand. Our depreciation count, there wasn't a lot of activity there. We currently have $3,439,178 in depreciation. Employee benefit account stayed steady at $49,875. Activity fund currently has $1,334,594. Cafeteria fund to start here the year is $982,664. Bond fund didn't have any activity, still has $28,209. Building fund had been carrying a negative balance, but with the sale of Osgood is what brought that forward. Cash on hand within the building fund is $378,648. Qualified capital purpose undertaking has $461,204. And then the cooperative fund didn't have any activity and has $16,643 within the cooperative fund. The other point within this report is to discuss the property tax request, the authority that you have. I believe that you passed a resolution a year ago for the 5% property tax authority growth, if I remember correctly, or at least looking at those agenda items. So that's something that will be coming up here again. I just wanted to provide some information for you. The 5%, I have documentation within that report. It gives the total formula and how the Nebraska Department of Education and the finance team comes up with the 5% growth. Really what the 5% growth is and it provides is you as the Board of Education the ability to request. Ours for North Platte Public Schools is 5%. If you vote for the 5% growth rate, it doesn't mean that you are asking for an additional 5%. It just simply means that you are providing yourself an opportunity if you need the additional 5%. And that means to develop that growth, whether it's this year or years down the road, whatever it might be for you as this Board of Education or future board members, and allowing them to do their due diligence with that 5% growth. And what would you utilize that 5% growth on? Well, it would be for facility improvements, facility expansions, could be curriculum expansions, could be a number of things, but the 5% would actually generate this district an opportunity for an additional $2.4 million on the base growth. And again, it's not that you're asking for that. It's not a part of the budget, but it gives you an opportunity if you need it. If you don't decide not to vote for the additional 5%, then you lose it. You can never gain those opportunities back that you may have for that authority. So what I provided you was with what was on the school finance, their website, and the information on the property tax request certification. I provided you the formula and all of the means that they come up with that property tax authority, not just for this district, but for districts across the state. And then it provided a little bit more explanation there in regards to the calculation process. So with that, I would open up any questions, or even Dr. Rhodes could provide some answers to if you have any questions in regards to the property tax authority and what that means.
Just so we kind of see what the difference is in that, I think it might be useful for the board to see maybe a historical over the past few years, what our authority was versus what we actually set the budget at, if that makes sense. To see that just because the authority is there doesn't mean that we have used that.
Right.
I think that maybe when we go to look at this and take action on it, that might be something that would be good for us to see over the past few years.
Yeah, I can look back on and just give you what it previously was, what it is today, and what it could be moving forward. If I don't have hard numbers in front of me, I want to say it was around 30 to 31 million, and then you went ahead and passed the resolution last year, which moved it to 33. What is it now? I think it's on the top of that sheet. $33,509,279. So I know that you didn't utilize that, but you did, utilize, I think it was 31 million and some change basically. So you were able to, if you wanted to, you were able to utilize that up to that $33.5 million range, which you didn't do at the time, but it did give you the base to do that for future years. And then an additional 5% would, I believe, goes to 35.9 million and some change, in regards to the additional 5%. So, those are, I can get you some hard numbers, but that's kind of where it lies right now.
Sure, because that additional 5% is basically an increase from our previous authority, not from our previous budget. Correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Gives
So
you the
that's why
authority.
there's impact down the road, should the board choose or not choose to approve that.
Right, yeah, if you don't have the authority, obviously, then you have to utilize other means for that and those are other discussions, so.
Yeah, and I'd like to know in the past, at least 5 years, how much we've come close to or gone over that tax authority, how much we've needed.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that would be good even just for our public to see that as well, that I remember last year when we approved that, there being a lot of questions and kind of an unease around a 5% increase, and mostly coming from a misunderstanding of not knowing that didn't mean we approved a budget with that percent increase, but that it was the authority. So I think if we had kind of those side by sides, that would maybe ease some of those
Sure.
concerns that we're not maxing that out every year. But I see where you're coming from. If the district does see growth, or if, North Platte sees an increase in a lot of housing, having some of that authority to make sure that we're able to serve future students doesn't necessarily translate to a levy increase, but making sure we have that ability there.
Right, correct.
Any other questions from board members on this?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else other than the rest of that packet. The July bank reconciliation is in there, so you can cross-reference those numbers within the treasurer's report. And then, like I said, the rest of those treasurer's reports should, they match the bank reconciliations moving forward throughout the course of the year, so.
And this might be, sorry, Dr. McConnell, I know we're asking you questions and you're like, I don't have all of the past year's information in front of you on these. Backing up real quick, I was excited to see those enrollment numbers. And I actually really appreciated that you added that building capacity and the variance there, because I've had a lot of community questions about that recently. So thank you for that. But that percent change, Dr. Rhodes, do you remember what we've seen kind of in years past of what that percent change is from beginning of year to beginning of year?
Yeah, so typically, I wouldn't be able to give you a percentage, but I can tell you over the past 5 years, we usually lose about 120 kids a year from year to year. And typically what that's had to do with is we've been graduating classes of 340, 345, and we've been bringing in classes of the 250, 260. Now, do recognize that so far this kindergarten group is relatively small. I think as of this morning's count, we were at 235. So we're hopeful we'll get to 240, but to be within 3 kids from a year ago is huge for us as a district, particularly as it relates to TIOSA and the way the funding formula works for us. So, but yeah, typically it's about 100 to 120 students, and that most of that has been attrition through graduating classes.
So really, this change of only 3 students is pretty significant for us to see that. And I was noticing if you follow through, like take last year's 1st grade or last year's 2nd grade and then trend up to this year's 3rd grade, most of those grades have increased since last year. So whether that's because we're recruiting them in or they're moving in, or I don't know, that's just very positive to see. So. All right, any other questions or comments on
I'm just gonna make a comment on the cash flow chart. I appreciate, you can see how evenly our expenditures fall across that chart, and then you can really see how the receipts are quite variable. So it helps helps us to understand just kind of the ebb and flow of taxes. So really appreciate that too. So.
Now, this document isn't available for the public, is it? Like when they pull up our agenda online?
Well, it's a part of what you're seeing, so if they, I don't know, I'm
Yeah,
sure Sheila.
It is. It's just on their live.
Yeah.
Okay, I just did, perfect.
And it's actually in two places. It's under the claims and then it's also under Dr. McDonald. So it's
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that we pointed out, like Emily had said with the capacity, that we still have room for 1,200 students, over 1,200 students. Because that's something that we get brought up to all the time is, oh, what if we have so many new kids come in and we're ready for growth? So. Awesome. Thank you for that.
All right. Thank you. All right, Dr. Rhodes, our opening of schools.
So some people say that Christmas, the holiday season is the most wonderful time of the year. I believe that was in a song, or maybe it's the title of a song. I think for school administrators, this is the most wonderful time of the year. So a week ago, this past Friday, we brought new teachers in and a lot of onboarding for our new teachers, a lot of training. The rest of our teaching staff, instructional staff, were on site this past Thursday. And of course, as you know, we did our welcome on Friday with all staff. So a lot of training went on today. We had some science training. I believe we had some math training, special education training, inclusive practices. So this was kind of a busy building that kind of sits empty sometimes during the school season, but we've been busy the last 3 or 4 days. So really excited. We bring in our K-9 students on Wednesday. 10, 12 will join them on Thursday. And then our preschool, we want to make sure we get this communicated out. Our preschool students begin on Monday, the 18th. So they start a week from today. Now, mainly that's due to a lot of home visits that take place the remainder of this week and getting in with those families. So I just really want to thank our administrators. They've been working since that last week of August, or last week of July, excuse me, to get ready for teachers, to get ready for students. And a big shout out to Mr. Ayers and our maintenance and custodial departments. They worked pretty tirelessly over the 2.5, 3 months that they have to get our buildings ready. And I had said Friday, I don't remember a year that when you look at our grounds and our facilities, our buildings, that has looked as good as what we're seeing right now. So kudos to them. And we're going to bring kids in on Wednesday. So it's an exciting time of the year for us.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson for our communications report this evening.
All right, there's nothing wrong with your TV screens. This is our North Platte Public Schools communication report. Appreciate your time this evening and appreciate your interest in North Platte Public Schools communication. It's been a little while since I presented to you, so there's been some cool things I've got to work on that I'm excited for you all to see. So first item on here, we wanted to put together a visual representation of organization of North Platte Public Schools. So we made a series of organizational charts, one for the district level and also one for the cabinet level. And also have some representation on there for our Board of Education too. So these were completed and are also up on our website. And we'll be talking a little bit more about the website here in a minute or two. Probably what I get to make the most of is content for our schools. And so this comes from a variety of different places. We do rotation through our schools to kind of organize some school visits. And so myself and Dr. Rhodes and anyone else who wants to come, any of you are welcome to come if you want to. And we'll go and visit the school, and principal will take us and show us some classrooms and see some cool things that are going on around the building. And we'll take some pictures and usually have an opportunity to talk to some students and talk to some teachers and staff members. And once we're done, then I usually take those pictures. We'll share them online, and then also I'll put them together in a form of a video to give the principals as a thank you for their time, and then they can share them online or on their video screens that are in the building. So school visits are a lot of fun. And then also a lot of times principals and teachers will reach out and ask if there's something that I want to help promote that's going on. So at Adams Middle School at the end of last year, we had the Masked Singer Teachers Edition. We have fish dissections going on in classrooms. Astronaut visiting Jefferson Elementary last year. All sorts of fun things that are going on all the time, and we love to get out there and to kind of share those cool things that students get to experience at North Platte Public Schools. As you know, STEM, we had that pilot program, which was at Lake Maloney Elementary and also Jefferson last year. Miss Shreya reached out and wanted to make some videos and provide some content for things they were doing. So I got to go and spend time with those classes, watching them write code for a variety of different little robots that were performing different tasks. Have some small group interviews, and we put together 6, I think, pretty engaging videos where you get to see the students doing these hands-on activities, and then also hearing interviews from the students' perspective and also the staff perspective who are working with those students on those projects. Also, we did some stuff with inclusion at Adams Middle School. Mrs. Teets had reached out and wanted to have us put together a video with some students that showcases the way that they support all learners at Adams Middle School. All of these can be found on our Facebook page and on those school pages, those individual school pages too. And are pretty fun to go back and visit just to see the excitement that these kids have. They're awfully proud of the work they do and all the learning. I know when I was leaving the classroom for the inclusion video, the students called me back in and they're like, did everything go okay? Did we do all right? And they did amazing. So it's fun anytime you get to go into the classroom and see what they're doing and to do those things. Another fun thing to do is with the Bulldog All-Star Awards and staff recognition. With Mr. Mills and his relentless pursuit of spreading positivity around the district, as you all know, he wanted to have something that was a little more spur of the moment, where you show up at a teacher's classroom and we make a little noise, hoop and holler and those things, and provide them an award for something that they did that maybe wouldn't normally be recognized for, but something where they're being positive or having a good impact in their school. And so we designed a little, I don't know, the Chuck Taylor Converse shoes, the All-Star shoes. We took the idea of that patch and made a Bulldog All-Star, so it has the staff's name on it. And then we record the experience when we go and visit those staff members and see their expressions when they see something's going on. Normally it's pretty loud, but we did go to Adams Middle School Library to recognize Mrs. Borges. And it was kind of funny. We weren't really prompted to for this, but we were in the library and just like second nature, we were like, yeah. So kind of funny how that school library etiquette never leaves you when you go through there. Anytime we get to announce new hires and new staff is one of my favorite things to do. So recognizing them on social media and just seeing how the community reaches out to them, and former staff and current staff of the schools. Welcome to our school. We're proud to have you part of our team. That's always fun. I like to put a lot of things together regarding ADCO when we have district ADCO, just to let people know that everything that's worked on during those meetings is purposeful and is impactful in what we're trying to do with our students. So it's good that people can see that that is time well spent. That's helping to make our schools better. And also with PLC, where we're trying to put together this culture of collaborative teams. And anytime we see that going on in the district now, when I share something out, I want to make sure to say this is, collaborative teams in action. So I think all those things are important. And we share them across our social media. We share them on our website. So I do have some information here, just some data from social media. It includes followers and posts, and the posts vary a little bit just because each platform has their own limitations. On X, you can only put 4 pictures on at a time. So some things we can't put those there. Facebook, you can do pretty much everything. So that's why we have more posts on there, and we have Instagram on there also. You can see the impressions and the interactions, which are just kind of vanity metrics. They're nice to see, but if we combine them together, we can calculate engagement. So I like to use the formula where you take interactions divided by impressions, and that gives you your engagement rate. And so as you can see on X, we have 9.14% engagement. On Facebook, it's 10.12%, and Instagram is 31.15%. And when you look at those numbers, it seems kind of small percentage wise, but I think before on a previous report in here, I talked about the 90-9-1 rule, which says 90% of all social media users are lurkers, and they're just checking stuff out, not really leaving any trace of their activity online. 9% do the occasional like or maybe a comment, and 1% are actually active social media users where they're providing content online. And if you look below that, it says across all the platforms for all posts. On X, average is 0.03% engagement, and 0.9% is considered good engagement by industry standards. And on Facebook, 0.06% is the average, and 3% is considered good. And on Instagram, 2% is average and 6% is good. So I think that is a testament to our families at home and how much that they take pride in seeing things that their students are doing, their children are doing in our schools, and shows a lot about that support that we have with our families. Moving right along to rooms. I think this is year 4 for rooms. I think it started the year before that I was able to do this position. And so we've seen a lot of success with rooms being our communication platform. So this is just some data from last school year, from August through May. And we had, on average, each month, we had 175 staff members with activity. And last year, when we were talking to the people at Thrillshare, they said we should be really proud of our staff, and we should be really proud of our families and their children for how well that they were using rooms and how committed they were to using this. And so last year, we had 8,964 announcements, and that's when they said, like, these are great results. This is great usage. Well, this year, we have even more with 9,768 announcements that were delivered. Last year, we had 26,678 messages. or 2 years ago, sorry. Then last year we had 31,633. So we had even more. And what they were really impressed with last year was our 86% of our students had at least one active guardian with a rooms account where they were receiving messages and those kind of things. And this year that even increased up to 91%. So thanks to all the principals and teachers and families and students for using a safe way to communicate with our staff at North Platte Public Schools.
Can I interrupt you just for 1 second?
Sure.
So one of the things that I have appreciated a little bit with the rooms, just because in my situation, I am the active parent on rooms and my husband is not so much, but with the texting feature this year where we are getting a text message for the message, then it will probably drive up engagement.
I think it will too.
Because he's getting those text messages as well and paying attention a lot more than he has in the past. So I think it'll be interesting to see what this looks like next year.
I will be. I appreciate you letting me know that. We did some work with the website, just visiting with people from this position, like, what do you think about North Platte Public Schools website? The two concerns last year were that the webpage doesn't look very good on small screens. And the other one was, I think 10 out of 10 people did not like the menu, the navigational menu on there. And those are pretty big deals to me, especially the screen size, well, and the menu too, because 70% of your first time web traffic is now on mobile devices, and over 60% of all web traffic is on mobile devices. So I figure if you have about 10 seconds to capture somebody's attention and they can't navigate through your page, or it just looks terrible, they're not going to be on it very long, and they're sure not going to come back and visit it. And this is supposed to be the resource that is kind of all encompassing. It has a lot of good information on there. So collaborating with the folks at Apogee it was on a series of just Zoom conferences. And Brian and Kyle from our technology department helped a lot with this also. And we looked at their features that they had available and how can we use a combination of those features with our website to solve those, what I would consider to be two pretty decent problems. And so the first one is we came up with a way to make the site a lot more responsive. And so responsive web designs mean like every element that's on that website, from the buttons to the heading text to the paragraph text to the links, each one of them has kind of a separate list of rules. There's like a rule they follow when it's on your desktop screen, but then based on the size of your browser, it adjusts those rules to help them to fit into your screen in an easier way. So on this example up here, you can kind of see underneath responsive, we have a desktop view up there, and that's how it looks on your devices in front of you. But if you were to change the aspect ratio of that screen or to view it on a tablet, then we have this bigger screen here, and you can see how now these buttons that appear, they stack nicer in the middle. These little smaller submenus center into the middle of the tablet screen. And it functions a lot nicer. You still have the search capabilities in the upper right-hand corner, which I think are important to have. And then if it gets even smaller to the size of our mobile device, then you can see the buttons now go all the way from the left side to the right side. You don't want them to keep getting smaller. As I'm getting older, I'm finding out smaller text is hard to read. So we want to make sure that's easy for everybody to read. And when it goes across the whole width of the screen like that, you can use your mobile device with one hand and go through and push those buttons. Even if you have big thumbs or big fingers, you can still use that website easier. So the responsiveness of the website, I think, is a whole lot better than what it used to be. And we put this out and I got a text message right away did we change the website? And it's like, oh man. And they were like, this looks a lot better. And so, you know, you're always happy about that. The navigation menu, instead of it being a mile-long list that just was on the far right-hand side of the screen, it now covers your whole screen and it's organized by different categories on there. And that nav menu is also responsive. So at its widest, it'll be 4 columns. And then as it gets smaller, it goes to 3, 2. And when you're on a web or when you're on your mobile device, it does go to 1 column on there. But obviously you want it to be readable and easy to press those links and everything. So that's why it's like that. So really happy with the support we've gotten from Aptigee, Thrillshare, and they've done really good with providing us solutions and brainstorming with us anytime we want to make changes to those. And your website's always evolving. So trends change. So what it looks like now, down the road, only the imagination knows for sure. Next, we have on here our branding. So with our strategic plan that I know everyone in this room is pretty excited about. As we looked around the district, the old word mark and everything was pretty specific to the old strategic plan and wasn't really relevant anymore. So we wanted to do something where we create something that is more, it'll go through time without needing to be changed. So it's not something specific to our current plan, but it's also flexible to where it could work with any plan in there. So this took a lot of time researching, looking at examples. Shout out to the Twitter page or to the X page, Suiting Up Varsity. They have a lot of classic North Platte high school pictures on there with some cool things to look at. So from old flags and banners and pennants and football helmets and yearbook covers and everything else. And then looking around at different signs around our community. Obviously getting some inspiration from the old North Platte canteen sign that you see in all the publications, looking at different signs from across the district. We wanted to put together some ideas of something that kind of ties to our past and holds true to our values. So this idea of interlocking NP, that's shown up throughout North Platte's history. And I like how it supports the concept of community and unity and teamwork and strength and all these things that are important to us and the people of North Platte. And so we put some ideas like, is it better linked together? Is it better as a brand? What should the word mark look like? What letter types should we use? We wanted to put information on there of what the color psychology of these colors are and what different shapes mean with logos. So we just took some ideas and kind of put together a mood board. And then this was sent out to students. Thanks to Mr. Spatansky for sending this to the high schoolers so they didn't think just some weirdo was sending them a link that takes them to who knows where. Our staff filled it out and then we posted it online for social media. And so we just wanted to get an idea of what do you think of these different aspects? Are there certain elements that you like better? There's some suggestions that you have that you would like to change. And so taking all this and, you know, when we built this strategic plan, that was a very collaborative process. And we're trying to talk about having good collaboration amongst our teachers. So it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense if these ideas were just done in isolation. We wanted something that the community would be proud of and something that our students and our faculty and staff would all be excited and enthusiastic about also. So we put this information together. And even though the idea of this logo and everything should stay the same, because it would just be bad practice to change a logo every 5 years when you go with these new processes. The hashtag is something that certainly will change is it's going to be something that's more relevant to what we're doing. So we got, as you can see, a lot of ideas on there for different hashtags to use across our social media accounts. And you'd actually be surprised how many of these were several repeats with a lot of these. So it's kind of funny to see how a lot of people have the same idea, but it's not surprising either that everyone here contains the same values and the same things are important to all of them. So we took all these hashtag ideas and narrowed it down to kind of 5 ideas, and then narrowed it down further to 3 because those top 3 were all 83.3%. So that made it pretty easy to draw the line there. And then we went back and shared this in some Google Forms and got feedback. And we had the biggest votes for hashtag NPPS Canteen Spirit, which works good for our instilling the canteen spirit in an evolving world. So I think that was something that was kind of fun to get people excited about and to give people a say in what we're sharing for that. So that was our little journey of our hashtag. So that is all that I have for you for today, unless you have any questions. And thanks again for your time too. Thanks.
Are you sending, so I love your on the branding page where you have kind of the explanation of the colors and the type and those kinds of things. I sometimes refer to them as like a brand standard or something like that. Will our staff have access to something like?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. So yes, I did take kind of the variations of our logo, like with this color and like if it was all white and, you know, for different backgrounds and those kind of things. And so our staff and principals and everyone have access in a couple of places. One of them is in Canva. So when they're creating things, if they need to grab something real quick, it's in there. And it even has like the colors and everything. So everything matches for them. And then also it's on a shared Google folder and also on our website on the communications page. So if people want to get those in those places also. So tried to make it as readily available as possible.
Perfect. I appreciate that because I think it seems a little silly probably to some, but anytime that you're consistent and I mean, we've even talked about it just like in our policies, being consistent in the way that we present information, it just creates, one, it's easier to navigate, but 2, it kind of creates that sense of pride and consistency. And I think that that's really great. So I appreciate you
Thanks.
putting that effort in and providing that then to our staff to use too. So thank you.
I just wanted to comment that I love everything that you've done. Just really appreciate all the work that you put into the things that you do. And I'm sure you have so much fun doing it. So I could just imagine you going around town looking at every sign, you know, your family's probably sick of you commenting on fonts and
we'll come back from vacations, you know, and people want to see pictures or whatever, you know, and then it's like, and that's the side of a building, that's the side. And Angie's like, why do we have so many business signs on here?
But I think it's great. I just wanted to mention one thing, and maybe you already have plans for this, but that I would love to see is that we have some sort of a showcase for students or staff members that are giving service, that are exhibiting great pride, collaboration, and grit, so that we have kind of a focus on each of those things. That would be really cool if we could see some of that through our social media posts.
It's a great idea.
So, but I love getting on my social media accounts and scrolling through and just seeing all of the things that, because even as board members, we can't be everywhere all the time. And so it's really fun to see all of the great things that are happening across the district. So thank you.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you. I suppose I can give you your screens back.
All right, we have several action items this evening that will all be approving policies. So we'll start with the first one, 11.1. At this time, I would entertain a motion on the table to approve revisions to policy 3036, purchasing credit card program.
I'll make a motion to approve the 3036 purchasing credit card program as presented.
A second.
Okay, and let's open that up for discussion. We have discussed this policy several times. So where it has landed, there are a couple of places in there we see new language. So just to review, that first highlighted section is an addition here that came from Skip's recommendation. There are going to be times that $250 maximum charge amount in a single day will have to be exceeded for a variety of reasons. One of them being even paying utility bills and those kinds of things. And so we have processes in place to handle those things, but there wasn't really language to match those processes in our policy. So that first highlighted portion there addresses that. The second highlighted portion came from several of our discussions over the last few meetings. Basically being provided an annual update with who has cards essentially. My understanding is that has changed quite a lot here recently, with paring back on some of those cards and changing our processes more to be department related rather than individual person, which is also great when it comes to reporting and not having to replace cards all the time. So that's the language that you'll see there. And then the third highlighted section was a requirement that came from legal advice there, just changing that wording to clarify that whether or not you're seeking reimbursement, if you're making a purchasing card purchase, you need to submit the itemized receipt. So those are the changes that we see here in this version that is presented compared to what we've had in place before. Are there any comments, questions?
I just,
anything?
if I may, would like Dr. Rhodes to clarify for everyone a little bit what's happened with the purchasing cards as far as the direction you've gone with making changes and how those are going to operate.
Yeah, sure. So I think it was maybe 2 committee of the whole meetings ago when we first kind of started to discuss this policy. And President Garrick had requested a list from Mr. Simpson at the time of the just the number of cards that we had across the district. And I believe at that time there were about 94 cards across the district. Many of those, if you look at department wise, activities office has quite a few, to the tune of probably 24 to 26 cards. Maintenance has quite a few cards as well. So what we started to do at that point is I started to work with some of the directors and building principals where we had a few more of those cards, and I just started to strike through individual cards. And then about 3 weeks ago, meeting with Mr. Spatansky and meeting with Mr. McCoy, had them kind of scrutinize the cards in those 2 areas. Met with Mr. Ayers and we kind of scrutinized through maintenance. So what we're proposing is we will have no individual cards across the district with the exception of maybe an activities director card with amount of travel that Mr. McCoy does. Otherwise, they'll be all departmental cards. So you're going to see, I think maintenance has, they have 2 or 3 that are for energy costs that are specific to sanitation, specific to municipal light and water. And then one of the bigger ones is for natural gas cost. And that does have a limit of about 100,000 on it because of the the natural gas costs that we have on any given month. But we will need to add a few maintenance cards to that department because we're taking away about 6 or 7 individual cards. And we don't want to make this so inefficient for example, for maintenance that, you know, if they're out on a site And they've got to go all the way back to get a card. I mean, that's really a waste of their time to have to do that. And so we want to be thoughtful with that process as well. So we've reduced that number by quite a few cards. We haven't done that officially yet with US Bank, but that's the direction we're headed.
And then there's still a significant amount of oversight as far as the spending and everything. So we know we can still trace receipts back to the user of the card. And
Absolutely.
those types of
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So at any, if you're talking about building or if you're talking about maintenance, the checking out is a whole process to check out that card. So it'll be, that card number will be checked out to the individual and then they'll bring the receipt back. In the case of maintenance, Candy Martinez is going to go through all that. Our administrative assistant over there, then Mr. Ayers will go through that. It'll come over to Janelle and Dr. McDonald for them to go through. And then of course, the claims audit, then the board has eyes on that as well. So yeah, there's about a 3 or 4 step process in terms of oversight when we have those cards checked out and then when receipts are turned back in.
So there won't be individual names
We are doing
on the
away with
list,
all.
on the
Yep.
list that this says to go to board members. It will be like maintenance, activities. Okay, yeah.
Which is pretty much how it was presented before, with the exception of there being a few in there that were individual names. Yes. Yes. Any further questions or discussion on that?
No, with that, this is acceptable to me. Without specific names, I think it's fine.
Right. We will call that to a vote. Sheila?
Angela Blazy,
Aye.
Justin Thompson,
Aye.
Joanne Green,
Aye.
Emily Garrick,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Alter.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. On our next action item here, you will see a number of policies. And we're going to make, but because these all come from attorney recommendation, they can all be made in one motion
That is correct.
because of the nature of the updates. Okay, so I will entertain a motion before we open up for discussion to approve revised policies. And we probably should read them out in the motion. You'll see them all listed there as presented.
I move to approve revised policies 1002, 3003, 3004.1, 3023, 3043, 4051, 4057, 4059, 5001, 5002, 5016, 5031, 6031, and 6034. Second.
Put the easy part of that.
Okay, and there is an attachment here.
Yeah.
We did discuss these at our committee of the whole meeting and kind of went through the rationale on some of these. But I know there were quite a few here. Are there any further comments or questions from board members since that last meeting?
So I'm gonna just mention, there was one of the policies that there's a page number change from 15 to 12, and I don't think the 15 was struck through. So it looks like the policy was 1,512 pages. So as I was going through it, I was pleased to see that it was in fact only 12 pages instead of 1,500.
You didn't want to read 1,500 of them?
It was gonna take me a while.
Thank you for that, making sure we point that out. Is this attachment on here, is the public able to see this attachment as well for the rationale of all of these?
I believe initially it was attached for public, yes.
Okay, perfect. I don't think we necessarily need to go through each one at this point since we have already discussed these, but I want to make sure that it is still out there. If somebody were to have a question about that change, they could look and see what was going to be changed in each of these. If there is no further comments or questions on any of these, I will call that to a vote, please.
Justin Thompson,
Aye.
Joanne Lynn Green,
Aye.
Emily Garrick,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Altick,
Aye.
Angela Blaze.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve new policy 6044, participation and assignment of athletic teams.
I'll make a motion to approve the new policy 6044, participation and assignment of athletic teams. I second.
Okay, and this one, again, we did discuss at committee of the whole. This was one that Joanne and Cindy and I kind of presented on a little bit as we came back from our conference as well. It was discussed pretty heavily there. But this is a new policy that comes from state legislative requirements here. And basically the idea here is we've had to define our sports as to what is a male team and a female team. And according to this policy, males cannot participate on teams designated for females. Females may only participate on male teams when there is no female team offered or available for such sport.
Right.
Which in our district is football, would be the only one really that would apply to. Dr. Rhodes, do you have anything more to share on the rationale or backstory behind?
Yeah, I
the
think,
policy?
so this was Senator Cal's Stand With Women Act. So that's where this came from. And I think by the time that became law, it had been pared down a little bit from what the initial language was in the bill. So there was a question at the committee of the whole. I think Joanne had a question on baseball and softball. Those are considered equivalent. So a female would not be able to play on the baseball team since softball's the equivalent sport. So.
Yes, that was a good question. Any other questions or discussion on this? All right, call to question.
Joanne Lynn Green,
Aye.
Emily Garrick,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Altick,
Aye.
Angela Blaze,
Aye.
Justin Thompson.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. And now I will entertain a motion on the table to approve new policy 6045, behavioral intervention.
I'll make a motion to approve the new policy 6045, behavioral intervention.
Second.
Okay, and again, for some context here, this was another policy that was brought forth as a new policy after our last legislative session. This one, the language here is what is required of us by law and came from our recommendations from KSB. We have not made any further changes to that policy. Dr. Rhodes, would you have anything else to add to that?
Probably the biggest requirement with this, and you are correct, it came out of this past legislative, well, actually 2 sessions ago. But they did give us an extra year to get ready for this. So the 2 big areas with this particular policy is that required training is all teachers, paras, nurses, and counselors. So we've got to provide training for all those employee groups. And then the other big component of this is at the end of the year, we have to report what the training was, when it was given, the type of training, and we do that. It's actually a website that the ESU-CC has put together, and then we put all that information in. So that's the requirement as a district, that we make sure we report that back through the ESU to the state. Right.
Any questions or discussion on this? All right, seeing none, call to question.
Emily Garrick,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Altick,
Aye.
Angela Blaze,
Aye.
Justin Thompson,
Aye.
Joanne Lynn Green.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, taking a quick look at our future board calendar. Tomorrow morning, we have Joanne and Dr. McDonald on the radio for Mugs in the Morning to do a recap of this. That should be pretty easy for you guys. Our next committee of the whole meeting will be at Lincoln Elementary, August 28th. And then we did add a reminder on here. So board members, you've been receiving some emails for Vector online trainings. I'm sure Mr. Tegmeyer would really appreciate if we got those done soon. So they are due by August 31st. So if you are like myself and have not done those yet, here's your warning to get those done soon. Area membership meeting for NASB will be here in North Platte on September 3rd. I think as of tonight, 5 of us are set to go. Cindy, we'll miss you.
I will be out of town.
Yeah. Fair enough. We'll forgive you. And then upcoming next month, Justin and I will have claims, and then of course our regular meeting on September 8th. And then if you look through there are some conferences and additional trainings coming up September, October, November, and December. So take a look ahead there, see if there's any of that that stands out as something that you would like to attend. And if so, fill out the form. Any questions? All right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. I'm just laughing.
Roll call, Sheila.
But I'll let Cindy go first for this. Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Altic.
Aye.
Angela Blazy.
Aye.
Justin Thompson.
Aye.
Joanne Lynn Green.
Aye.
Emily Garrick.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.